Just started as a writer. Was always interested in writing. Something of an aptitude for it, but not fabulous. But started writing things literally when I was 10 years old, and just wrote short stories. Particularly interested in screenplays and that sort of thing. My father, who was a gaffer, lighting guy in the business, used to just bring me home armloads of scripts, because at that time, when I was 10 years old, the online didn't exist and you couldn't go online. Now you can go online and see, pretty much any script that you want to see. But then you didn't have that access. So I kind of learned the screenplay form from reading the scripts that he would bring home. And he'd bring home every TV show, everything. He worked at Warner Brothers and all that. So that's kind of how I learned at the time. And just kept writing. And I wrote spec script after spec script. And it wasn't until I was in my late 20s that I actually sold my first script to Twilight Zone. They did a remake of the Twilight Zone, the classic Twilight Zone series from the 60s. They remade it in the mid 80s. And I'd written a couple of little short Twilight Zone-like scripts, and sold one of the two to Twilight Zone. So that was my first gig. But it was one of those kind of overnight successes that took 10 plus years to happen.